renewable sources.
This is live from Russia. It's 6:06 here in Florida, but it is, well, it would be 1:06 p.m. in Russia. He has spoken on a lot of things. He said he was going to address the situation. So let's take a listen, you guys. He's been on here for, a long time. Here we go.
It could be sustainable use of coal, which is also possible in the modern world. It could be a liquefied gas, and I instruct the leaders of the regions to work with the government to come up with such plans and to start to implement them in the next year. Thus, for example, for Kamchatka, we need to plan a local infrastructure for keeping gas so that we could provide a long-term access to gas for the citizens and enterprises from Kamchatka. Dear colleagues, we are not only going to give a new instrument for development to the regions, but we will allocate funds to help them to resolve the most urgent problems that have a complex effect to improve, to develop the quality of life for their citizens. And the National Welfare Fund will allocate money to develop the backbone infrastructure, and we need to expedite the construction of the highway between Moscow and Kazan and to extend it further to Yekaterinburg. And this project must be completed in 3 years. Thus, in 2024, keeping in mind that there is already a highway between Moscow and St. Petersburg and the Central Circle Road, we are going to have safe, high-speed traffic starting from the Baltic Sea up until the Urals. But it's not enough just to connect these dots between each other, because what will change for people in small towns and smaller cities, the cars will be just passing by, trains are going to fly by. The backbone infrastructure must help to develop all the regions that it's crossing, to create the modern infrastructure. And using these new loans, the regions will be able to increase the tempo, the pace of such construction efforts. And colleagues should keep it in mind in their planning, so that the federal and regional highways work as a system, as a unified network in the interest of our citizens, of our businesses. Infrastructural loans and the resources of the national funds are going to work all across Russia, in all the regions of Russia. And the same as will our new national project in tourism. In the near future, we are going to launch the subsidized loans to develop and update the hotels and other tourist infrastructure. And the interest rate for these loans will have a horizon of 15 years, and it also will consist of 3 to 5%. And the test projects in this area, we are going to have a lot of test projects. I will name a few. It's the development of Sheregesh, of the Kuzbatsky Resort, Yacht Resort, and Balaklav Bukhta in Sevastopol, improvement of the Altai infrastructure in Kaliningrad. And using the infrastructural loans, the new impetus will be given to the entire tourist clusters, like regions in the central Russia will reach a new quality level to develop the Golden Ring tourist routes, to develop the tourist potential of such towns as Tarusa, Palikh, Murom, Gorokhovets, Tutaev, Borovsk, towns in Volga Basin on Crimea will also get a chance to develop even further. Such resorts as Staraya Russa in Novgorod region, mineral waters in Caucasus, and towns like Kislovodsk. So Russia is a hospitable land. Russia is a hospitable land, open for true friends. You remember what happened during the World Cup as soon as the epidemiological situation allows, we will lift the restrictions and we will get millions of tourists from all over the world. And we have a goal so that from most of the countries it's possible to get an e-visa in just 4 days to visit Russia, to come to Russia without too much effort. So, dear colleagues, the idea of Russia's foreign policy, I will speak a few words about this as well. As a conclusion, we should provide peace and safety for our citizens, for the development of our country. Russia has its own interests. Of course we do. The interests we defend and we are going to uphold within the international law, under international law, as it's done by other nations in the world. And if someone refuses to understand this obvious thing and they don't want to engage in a dialogue and they opt for looking down upon us, Russia will have a way to defend our position. At the same time, unfortunately, regrettably, everyone is getting used to the practice of the politically motivated unlawful sanctions in economy, to the attempts to impose their will to the others. But such practice is reborn now, is changing into something much more dangerous. What I mean is the fact that has become known of the attempt to organize a coup in Belarus and the assassination of the president of the country. And even such blatant actions, they are not condemned by the so-called Western nations. It seems like no one even notices this. Everyone pretends that nothing is going on. But listen, you can say whatever you want about the president of Ukraine, Yanukovych, or about Maduro in Venezuela. But once again, you can have whatever opinion you want about Yanukovych, who was almost killed and who was overthrown via armed coup. You can have whatever opinion you want about the political views of the president of Belarus, Alexander Lukashenko, but organizing, plotting a coup, planning a political assassination of the leaders of the country, well, it's too much. And just listen to the admissions made by the participants of the coup that Minsk was supposed to be sieged, including the city infrastructure, shutting off the entire power infrastructure of the capital of Belarus. It means that, actually, it means that they were preparing to the massive cyber offensive action. How else you can call that? So you can't do it with switching just one lever. And it's not for nothing our Western counterparts are refusing or denying to hear to the Russian suggestions to have a dialogue in the cyber security. We have suggested it a number of times, but they avoid even discussing the matter. And what would happen if the attempt of the state coup that really happened in Belarus, because everything was going this way? How many people would have suffered then? What would have been destiny of Belarus? No one is thinking about that. Like no one was thinking about the fate of Ukraine when coup d'etat happened in that country. And unfriendly activities towards Russia are not stopping either. Some countries has made it a habit, with every reason, and most often without any reason, to talk about Russia. It's like a sporting competition for them, a new kind of sport for them. Who is going to be the loudest speaking against Russia? And we are trying to be reserved in this regard. I'm not even trying to be sarcastic. We are really modest in this regard. Usually we don't even respond to these unfriendly efforts, but we don't even respond to the rudeness, blatant rudeness. We want to keep good neighborly relations with all the participants of the international efforts. But we see what's happening in the real world. They are picking on Russia here and there without any reason. And it's like around the large tiger, you can see all those smaller hyenas. It's like from the Rudyard Kipling's novels. They are just being yes men to their leader. Kipling was truly a great writer. We want to keep good relations with all the participants of the foreign policies, including those that we are not really having good relations with in the recent past. We don't want to burn bridges, but if someone sees our good intentions as indifference or weakness, and they want to burn the bridges or blow up the bridges from their side, they should remember this. Russia's answer will be asymmetrical. It will be quick and it will be tough. Everyone who is coming up with the provocations that are a threat to our interests will regret about things they do, the way they didn't regret about a lot of things in a while. And I have to say this. We have enough patience. We have enough responsibility. We have enough professional qualities. We have enough confidence in our righteousness, and we have enough common sense when we making any decisions. But I hope no one would think about crossing the line in the relations with Russia, and we will define where this line is by ourselves in every individual case. And I can't help but mention today, as it's usual the case in my annual addresses to the Federal Assembly, about strengthening of the Russian armed forces is a continuing, ongoing process, and we will pay special attention to the development of military education. It will be made both in military institutions and also in the military educational centers within the civil colleges. By 2024, the share of the modern military equipment will be almost 76%, which is a good notion. And in the nuclear armed forces, it will be more than 88%. We already have on duty, on battle duty, the state-of-the-art hypersonic missile complexes of Intercontinental called Avangard, laser battle complexes Peresvet, and the 1st Regiment, fully equipped, fully armed with intercontinental ballistic missiles, Sarmat, will be delivered according to the plan by the end of 2022. We are going to increase. We are increasing the number of the attacking aircraft with Kinjal missiles, ships armed with the hypersonic weapons, Kinjal and Caliber missiles. We are going to deliver in the near future hypersonic missiles Zircon. And in full correspondence to our prior plans, we are working on the other state-of-the-art battle complexes, including Poseidon, Burevestnik, and other systems. And being a leader in building the state-of-the-art weapon systems and developing the modern nuclear forces, Russia is suggesting to our counterparts to discuss the matters concerning the strategic weapons, matters regarding strategical safety and stability, coexistence in the safety that would grasp not only traditional weapons, intercontinental ballistic missiles and heavy bombers and submarines, but all the offensive and defensive systems that are able to solve strategic goals no matter what their actual equipment are. The 5 nuclear powers have special...
Okay, you guys, I'm going to leave it right there. Wow, this is, well, he is letting it be known that he's not messing around. You guys have a blessed morning in our Lord, I pray, and keep looking up because our redemption is nigh.